Alex, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the She Scores podcast, everyone. Today, we're joined with Alex, really special guest. Made her WSL debut at 16. Scored 2 goals on her first start for Arsenal at 16-2 against Spurs in the North London derby. Like, that's a huge achievement. And then at the age of 17, started her own business. Is it Electra Academy?
Electra Academy. Right? Yeah, you're saying it right. Yeah, perfect.
So, amazing to have you on. And
pleasure to be here.
Yeah, today we're here to basically discuss Alex's journey into football. But also her journey into starting her own business, being an entrepreneur, because that's also another difficult thing to do. So it's 2 amazing things you've already done at the age of 18. So I think it's going to be really insightful for everyone watching.
Looking forward to it.
So I guess we'll start with like your football career and then we'll go into the business as well. Like, do you think you were like born a footballer? When do you start noticing that you're like, you love football, you're good at football?
I think like initially, like you start playing, like I think I was on holiday and started having a kick about with a few boys and that was where I initially thought, you know what, I actually quite enjoyed this is quite fun. Mm-hmm. And then from there, like I obviously expressed that to my mum and I was like, you know, I really enjoyed that. Can I carry on doing that when I'm back home?
Yeah.
And she signed me up for a boys team. I stayed there for 2 years. And
how do you at this point when you first?
I think
the boys?
I'm not sure. Maybe 7, 6,
quite
7.
Late.
Yeah, it was. 6, 7. I'd say.
Because to make your debut at 16 and start.
Yeah, it's not.
It's
a quick turnaround. It's a quick turnaround. So joined up with the boys team. They're called Tigers. They're based in Essex, and I think that's where my love for football began. Like Saturday morning trainings, you know. Like just getting stuck in, and on Sunday, like would go out and just play free range with freedom, and just the only thing you cared about was like just playing, and there was no external factors that bothered you, and it was just pure love for the game at such a young age.
What were you like compared to the boys on your team? Were you like the best on the team, or how do you think you?
Well, they say that now. Yeah, they say like I used to score hat tricks and, you know, run the show a bit. Sometimes they'd all back me up now and say that because I'm still friends with some of the boys to this day, which is really nice. But I was lucky to have such a supportive like team. Obviously, 10 years ago, it still wasn't normal for like a young girl to play in a boys team, let alone be one of their star players. So, I was lucky to have like a group of boys that really supported me and really valued me and continue to show it, as well as the parents. So I thank them a lot.
I guess at the age of 7, like did you see football as like a path, like to become a professional footballer?
Yeah.
Did you see that as a realistic thing? Was that already in your mind, or was it because
I think like having a career in football 10 years ago for a woman was like almost either frowned upon or like, that's not going to happen. Like, you're not going to have a sustainable career or be able to afford the life you want if you choose to be a women footballer. And looking 10 years ago, was it? Probably not. It wasn't. It didn't bring in enough money, couldn't afford like a sustainable lifestyle. But now it has changed, and it does bring in a decent wage. And, you know, with the Lioness's success and, you know, just the game evolving, I can see that now. I can see that now, and that's something that's turned around really quickly. Obviously, it's turned around so quickly, but I'm just glad it's getting to that point now where people are appreciating the game, and you know, the paycheck at the end of the day is like appreciated too. So that's a good thing, and I'm just proud to be a part of that growth. I think that's important.
So, did anyone tell you can't be a footballer at all?
Yeah, like obviously people noticed that I could play and I could keep up with the boys' standard, but it was always a theme when, you know, you was younger that girls will never be as good as the boy. You know, this boy could not even play, but he's better than you. And that was kind of like such a theme when growing up, that now I'm so glad to see that boys are now, like, she's good at football, like, good on her, I love that. And that's what was missing for so long. Like,
we had that too. Like, we had that. So I used to play at like 10 years old, and like we had girls play for us. And every time we went to play against another boys' team, they'd look at our team and see we have girls in it. I think we're weaker because of that. And now, hopefully, like you're saying, it sounds like it's changed.
It's definitely changed. And like, talking about my academy, like the girls that come to me and the boys that also come to me, like, some of us group sessions are mixed and they're open for everyone to come to. So there's not that only girls allowed, only boys allowed, because I don't want that. I want, we're playing football, whether we've got 5 boys playing and 10 girls playing, or 10 boys playing and 5 girls playing. We all work hard. We all, want to improve. So surely we should all be able to train and work together to do that. So that was kind of, I'm kind of quite heavy on that. Like, if a boy wants to train and a girl wants to train, let's all play together, because I think that's like, if you want a sport to be equal, like, you're only going to do that from both parties. Yeah.
We'll talk about your academy, actually. We'll go into it because you've brought that.
Yeah.
Like, what did inspire you to set up the academy? Was that like what it was like growing up, like you didn't have necessarily the opportunities, or not opportunities, but the people looked at you differently? Is that the reason you want to set it up, was to change that?
I was quite heavy. I say there's quite a lot. Create the things you wish existed. I think that's something I'm quite heavy on. Like, when I was younger, the opportunity for me to externally train away from academy with just girls from a female coach, that wasn't available. That wasn't available in my area. It might be in somewhere else, but that wasn't available. And now I provide this service which has its niche, and people really benefit from that. Because I think also the reason I built the academy was because there's that lack of, like, at the minute, like, a lot of coaches are 20 years older, and people are thinking, you're coaching like this amount of kids at 18, and like you're running this business at 18. If I've got the skill set to do it, I've got it. If I can command a group, brilliant. And I have all the skill sets that someone 36 might have.
I was going to say, like, you have gone through like a lot already, like to play for Arsenal when you're 16, but not just that, but to go through the academy, to get the opportunity to play in front of that audience, and to score 2 goals, and then to have, I guess, then the weight on your shoulders of like, right, you scored 2 goals. Yeah. But like, you've gone through more than most girls will ever go through. 100%. So like, you should be able to teach football at 18. And I
think that's kind of like, when I look at a non-negotiable, like, I do think like I have got a lot of knowledge in football, the academy set up, what coaches expect, what the do's and don'ts, and what I loved about growing up through certain systems, grassroots academies, international level, like what I loved about all them setups, I can now, drip feed from all these, like, from all these places, like my idea of a perfect academy.
You said as well that, like, when you were growing up, there were no female coaches necessarily around to coach you. What's it like now, setting up an academy, being a female coach in, I guess, what we call a male-dominated,
100%.
male-dominated industry? Have you faced any challenges because of that?
No, I haven't. I think the people around me, my clients, the kids I work with, the parents of the kids I work with, all they're looking at is the quality of the service, which it should be, not whether I'm a girl or whether he's a man. And people don't look at it like that. And it's whether their kids are improving, the kids are having fun, and that's what it should be about. Like, not how old or what gender you are, that doesn't matter. It really doesn't. And I think I'm so lucky to have found a pool of, customers that just appreciate, the quality of service and not all them external things.
What's the biggest advice you give to the girls you're coaching at the moment, and to any girls sort of growing up and who are watching this, like from what you've learned so far?
I'm quite heavy on the evolve, to be able to evolve and adapt to whatever life throws at you. And a lecturer is kind of, it's a coaching service. A lecture academy is a coaching service, but a lecturer, I want to be a brand that inspires people to be their best versions of themselves. Life is hard sometimes. I've experienced the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows. Yeah. So a lecture is all about, adapting, evolving. Like, slow process is still process. Slow growth is still growth. And consistency, and, you get knocked down, you get back up. That's what I'm heavy on, because, like I said, I've experienced, so many special moments in football, but I've also experienced some really crappy moments as well that have not been, made me feel the best about myself or knocked my confidence. I've still experienced them things, and I think it's nice for me now to coach. I haven't had everything hasn't been rosy yet. I've scored 2 at Arsenal, but I've had my down moments as well. I've had kicks in the teeth. I just think that's what I can share as well. The reality of football. It's still harsh. It's still definitely cruel.
Delve into that, because I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, 100%.
So we'll dive back into it now, actually, and talk about your going through the academy at Arsenal.
Yeah,
How old were you when you were picked up by Arsenal and joined Arsenal? You started at 7, so it must have been
7. So I was at Essex for a while.
Yeah. So
I was Essex RCC. I thought that was such a great setup, and I think now it's void. It's not a thing anymore. Just because I think the FA have set up things differently now, and the academies kind of thing has been scrapped. But Essex RTC is where I spent 3 years till I was about 11 or 12. I can't remember. Then went to Arsenal.
How did that come about?
They ran obviously they had scouts and stuff, and I'd been mentioned, and but it all came down to a trial back, maybe how long ago is it now? 6 years ago? God.
Not even that long ago.
Not even that long ago, no. 6 years ago or something. So.
Which is why, I'm sorry to break the conversation up, but why you are such a good coach, because 7 years ago you got scouted by Arsenal.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. No coach can say 7 years ago I was 11 years old and I was playing for an Essex Sunday League team and I got scouted.
Yeah, I think
it's so sudden.
It's sudden, it's quick, and
So how old were you? So you were 11 when you got picked up.
11, 12, and spent my whole youth till only, is it a year ago? Only a year ago, so it's still raw, the memory of that is still raw.
What challenges do you face? Any challenges between those? Because I had obviously Lily Woodham on an episode.
Yeah.
She said the biggest thing for her was leaving home at 13 and then saying to her mum in the car on the way to trials that she didn't want to go. She didn't want to go. Did you face, when you were 13, 14, 15, was there any challenges you faced at all? Because
I think
difficult age, really.
Yeah, it's a difficult age. You're a teenager. You're hitting that age where you're starting to learn about yourself, and
you got
school, and you've got challenges from school. You've got challenges from football. You're still a kid. But you're under constant review. You're faced with constant criticism, opinions, whether they're right or wrong. You've got to, take them on the chin and just keep it stepping. But I think that the challenge for me was although Arsenal was local to me, I was it was an hour away, but that was classed as local still for girls football. And I think the challenge for me was, I sacrificed a hell of a lot. And that's just not, I wouldn't say that's just from football, because bearing in mind, not everyone is going to be a footballer at the end of the day. And I think that's the harsh reality of it, I'm quite honest. Not everyone is going to be a footballer. So through growing up, my parents were very heavy on, you know, get your education, focus in school, do well in school, but also, you know, you've got talent and utilise that. Like, work hard, do the best you can every session. And I think that was like what sort of built me into who I am today. Like, I had about 3-4 plates to juggle.
Yeah.
And juggled them all. Like,
yeah,
I'm sat here now and I'm
13,
still playing pro football.
Yeah.
I have a business.
Yeah.
I have good GCSEs and I have A-levels. Like, I look back now and think, I sacrificed a lot. I didn't have a lot of social time. Like,
because normal girls would we say normal girls, but a girl who isn't playing football and at that level would go to school, come back, go out with their friends till late.
Yeah, like, I missed out on that.
I guess you missed out on that, yeah.
And like, my business is social. I'm a social person. I love creating new connections. I love, like, you know, making new friends. Like, I'm that type of person. But I missed out on that, and I missed out on also, like, you know, just relaxing. Like, I still feel this day I struggle to relax.
So that, like, mentality and that drive to balance 3 things at once, is that something that you were born with, or is that something that you can nurture, do you think?
I think you're a product of your environment. I think, you know, what you grew up around is key. Like, I've grew up from a family of, like, if you want something, go out, work and get it. Like, it's not going to come to you. This never come to any of my family. My family are full of hard workers. My mum's a big role model for me. She has always taught me to, you know, work hard, stay focused. And I thank her for pretty much, you know, what I have now, because she's always supported me, but always, you know, never let me, you know, be complacent. And that always want more is, you know, from her. Like, I got that from her. Like, so, yeah, I think you can either, you're a product of your environment, but also you can take the information or how people are and sit with it and, you know, be that, or you can take that and run with it and be more than that. Like, I think that's what I've saw success. I've grew up with people doing well around me, and it's in me to just think there's still something more for me. There's still something more for me. Like, that's always what I've thought. And
you've said yourself, like, you always want more. Like.
Always want more, but I'm also, I'm at a point now where I run a full-time business. I also still play pro football, and, like, my path has changed.
I was gonna ask quite almost a deep question, and you still have to answer it. Deep. If you knew what you know now about football and the journey you've been on, like, would you have picked football as your career path at the age of 11 if you could look back now?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's tested me in ways I can't even describe, but yeah, 100%. I love football. I love football. That's the whole reason I've got a business centred around football. I still love football. Yeah. And even though it's tested and challenged me in ways, I love the game. The
reason I ask is that not many footballers will set up their own business at the age you have. Like, so when you're 16, 17, 18, you focus purely on, like, right, I want to make it to the first team. But it looks like you've, and correct me if I'm wrong, it looks like now you've almost taken a step back on the football in a way and focus on the business. Like, why do you think that is? Like, it's not usual behaviour, I guess.
Yeah, it isn't. Look, I'm a bit of am I a risk taker? Probably, yeah. I think I also feel so rewarded by my business, by the kids that turn up every week. Like, there's a care there. I care about them. You know, I care about how their day was. I care about how school is, like, and that care I give back they show in the sessions. They show, you know, they value me as a coach. They value me as a person. And like because the age gap is not big at all.
Yeah.
Like I've got girls that come to me that are 15. Like I'm only 18.
Yeah, it's
but,
crazy, yeah.
You know, there's this, they see me as a supporter. I'm rooting for them. Like I'm rooting for them whether, you know, they get to next year and think, you know what, football isn't for me. I'm going to go and train to be a lawyer. I'm going to go and train to be a doctor. I'm like, go you. Go you. That's brilliant. Okay?
Yeah.
But
Lecturers, what you said it's more than just
it's more
about
than
being a footballer.
It's more than that.
What you want to be. And
because
do you think, like, in modern society as well, like, there are enough role models for girls as well, like, even now, to, like, for little girls to see you can be whatever you want to be? I personally don't think there is, but I'd like to hear
I agree. I think, you know, what I also give is reality. Reality, like, I've had to adapt. I've had to evolve. I've had to mould to situations. I think there definitely could be more role models in female role models that, you know, tell their story. I think that's I love listening to it as well. Like I think girls love being inspired. Like
that's why we've set this up.
100%. I love stuff like this. I think it's needed. I think a deeper insight into what makes people who they are is so interesting.
Yeah.
And I think a lecture, every client, every player has their own story that might be shown through their game. And also as a coach, I can get to know them as a person and why they play football and why they enjoy sport. And I think I'm just really heavy on the side that football is also an outlet. It's also an escape. People come to me because, you know what, I take their mind off what's going on in their life that might be good or bad for an hour or two. I'm heavy on it. It's much deeper than football. I think people play for all different reasons. People might play to be a footballer. People might play because their friends going and they enjoy time with their friends and playing and, you know, getting competitive. Like they enjoy that, or they go to keep fit. Or like I think it's more than that. It's definitely
Getting a bit deep as well. Another kind of deep question about, so obviously, you know, you've had to adapt, had to evolve.
Yes.
Do you think, like, it's another reason is because, so if you're a male footballer and you're 18 or 17 or 18 years old and you're playing for Arsenal, you're going to be earning 50k a week, easy. You're going to be living in a mansion. Do you think that there is still a massive gap?
Of course there is. Like, of course there is. And I think there's more opportunity for men to, you know, you're talking about, so like the top 3 leagues, some of the women play and don't get paid.
Have second jobs and stuff.
Have a whole other life than football. Would that be their choice? I'm not sure. But financially, there's a very small pool that is like there's a very small pool of players that are financially really rewarded for what they do. And that's, you know, what I'm kind of like saying is it's very hard to, you know, do financially great still in women's football.
It's not right though, is it?
Of course it isn't, because like I've said this so many times, like because it's women's football, I don't want everyone to think, you know, we don't face rejection, we don't get upset when, you know, things aren't going our way, or if we, you know, don't do as well as we wanted to, and we have rejection, and that upsets us still. That affects us, that whether we're getting a fraction of what the men get, we still feel exactly the same.
And you put your body on the line too, like in the same way that a man does. If anything, more. I mean, you've seen the amount of ACL injuries and the amount. Yeah,
that's tough. And look, I wouldn't wish that upon anybody, because 9 months out, for me, the worst one I've had is like 5 to 6 months, and I hated it.
Yeah.
It got me down. It got me in a rut. So the fact it's more frequent as well is like another challenge added on top of like the whole women's football thing. Like it's another challenge. Like we're more common to get ACL injuries. Great, thanks. Like it's tough, and I think you have got to be mentally flexible to the game, and if you want to achieve in the game or you want to achieve in life as a woman still, I think.
To sort of like end on that topic, do you think there like will be a time where there are equal pay between men? Do you think and how long do you think it will take before that happens? You be brutally honest.
I'm not sure. If I could be honest, I would. I don't know. I really don't know. I think we do the exact same job as the men's. Still, there's a massive, like regularly. There's not the fan base is
still
different.
Growing.
It's still growing. Like, and like people expect us to, in a shorter time, the men's to flip around and generate like massive crowds like week on week, but we haven't been playing as long as the men's.
And the crazy thing is the Women's World Cup on BBC, I did a post about this as well. I think it was 12.5 million was the peak audience for the Women's World Cup on BBC, and that was the second most watched event in the UK of the whole year, behind the King's coronation, which obviously nothing's going to beat the King's coronation. So if you rule out the King's coronation, it was the most watched event of the entire year. All the sport, the Wimbledon final happened.
So good. Love it.
And the fact that then some of those people playing, the girls playing at final, are still have jobs to go back to, especially some of the Spanish players I can imagine would go back and work in a hospital the next day.
That's like I'm heavy on girl power. That's girl power.
That is, yeah.
Yeah, that's girl power. Like, yeah, we can do both. We can, like I said, we can be flexible, but ideally, would we want to be? Would we just want to play and, earn what the men had? 100%. But, there is a real aura right now around women being strong, women just getting on with it.
I guess the thing is, and do you want to get paid 300,000 a week? Of course, everyone would want to, but
would we be lying if we say we didn't? Maybe.
No, but like, is there a problem with men's football? Like, are we looking at the wrong thing? Are we like men's football is you've got Jack Grealish on? Sorry to call that Jack Grealish. I'm sure he's a lovely bloke, but
lovely,
300k a week he's probably on. That's 1.2 million a month. Like it's stupid money when you think about it.
Yeah, it's crazy money. Of course it is. Everyone can, say that. I think Jack Grealish himself would say, yeah, how did I end up here? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, it's the game now and you can't change it. Like it's built around that fame, that fortune, like being a footballer. Like, so do I have an opinion on it? It's what it is. It's what it is right now, and I think.
But the main thing is like what we base the whole page on the podcast on is it's about getting equal opportunities for girls.
100%,
as well.
I'm all for that.
Because girls should be allowed to play football if they want to.
Of course they should. I think there shouldn't even be a debate about that now. Why should there be?
It still is, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that's an aim of Electras as well.
Yeah.
I want to make that clear. That clear that girls can play whenever they want. There shouldn't just be a boys' football team at school. Why was that ever a thing?
Still, like,
why was
from
that
where I'm from, there's still just a boys' team.
Just a boys' football team at school. There's no option for girls to play. I don't agree with that. I don't like sport as a whole is one to you build morals through sport, respect, teamwork, all these things. And basically only having a boys' football team at school is saying, girls can't build them values as well. So
you spoke a bit about your academy. You set it up. It's obviously doing amazing already. Like you've got 50 plus kids going a week that love the academy, and
going extra.
You've played for Arsenal. Like no one's gonna be like, not many people can do that. So in my eyes, that's a success. I've got asked this question already on Instagram. what's your key to success, not just in football, but in life as well?
Key to success. I think anyone that knows me will say I work really hard in whatever I do. I think find your passion. I think find something you love, and you can use, like, I'm a big advocate, and like some things don't go your way, and some things you'd think initially like, this is what I want to be, and that's what if I work this hard, that's what's gonna be in front of me in a couple of years' time. And I think I've learnt the hard way that's not always the case. You can be flying 1 minute and falling down the next.
Yeah.
Okay, like that's the reality of life in general.
Do you want to go into that? Because like we've said earlier, you scored. I keep saying you scored 2 goals against Tottenham. It's a massive achievement, but like, was there a downfall after that? Like you've been through?
Yeah, of course there was. Like I had multiple injuries. Everyone was going like this, and I was going like this, and then injury comes in. I'm just staying here.
Yeah.
It put me back. It also a high at such a young age, with I didn't have loads of guidance on what to do from there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think there's things I would have done differently. 100%, looking at how I dealt with things, and yeah, there's things I would have done differently. But has that benefited my academy clients? 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
1,000,000%. If I didn't have knock A, B, and C, I couldn't give lesson A, B, and C. Like that's the main thing for me. Like I haven't had it all rosy.
They say you learn from your failures as well.
Of course you do. Oh my God, yeah. Of course you do.
I wouldn't say it's a failure. I don't think it's a failure at all what you've achieved. I think it's like just everyone's got a different path, haven't they?
It's a path, yeah, and you're going to trip over a few times. Like, I think it's how you deal with it. It's 100% how you deal with a failure. Like, some people I know would have just, got knocked down and stayed down and stayed down.
So you said that obviously injuries affected you at Arsenal, like
injuries, a lot of things have affected, my journey, and I also think juggling, although I juggled, was hard.
Yeah,
was hard, but I would do some things differently. Some things I think, looking back, I'd have wanted that to happen.
Yeah.
Like me at 17, I would have wanted that to happen. Me at 18, I would have wanted that to happen. It didn't happen. But life works in weird ways, and somehow now I'm so glad it didn't.
Yeah.
So I think everything happens for a reason, and literally what you get dealt with, deal with.
Taking risks as well, or something that you've done. That's something you definitely
can't care what people think as well. You can't.
Yeah, because that's something. Because I sort of starting businesses right now, I had to.
It's daunting. It's daunting. It's really, for me, I was nervous about like telling everyone.
Yeah.
You know what? I've got a business, and that was something I was nervous about. Like I'm here. I'm also like, if you've got a project, scream about it.
It must have been hard as well to like, so
it's age as well, I think.
It must have been hard to go through like all that, those academy years and all that hard work, and then like tell people, okay, now I want to start a business and focus on that.
Yeah,
how did that?
What are you doing? Starting a business.
How did that? Did people tell you that it's like the wrong thing to do? Or were you really?
Yes. Yeah. People was like, "Ow!" Like you've played for Arsenal, you've played for England. Why now? Why now at 18? Like, you've got years that you can do this. I'm like, well, no one's doing it now. There's not a young current player that thinks, I've got current advice. I'm getting advice as I'm going along. And as soon as I get it, you can hear it as well. Like, I don't think there is that. And that's Alexa's niche. It's right now where I'm growing up, the kids are growing up, and the challenges I face and the good criticisms, the bad criticisms, the good advice, the bad advice, I can then, put my own spin on and teach the kids life lessons through that as well, through football. And a lot of the kids that I coach will say, like, I'm very mindset driven. My sessions are mindset driven. What you get in, or what you put in is what you get out. If you cruise for a session, I use this word, if you cruise for a session, you will get mid results. If you go into a session, I want to smash this, you'll get excellent results. I just think that's how the world works.
So just to sort of end on this question, with the academy, Lecturer Academy, where do you see it in 5 years' time?
5 years, so I'll be 23. 23.
That's crazy, yeah.
That's crazy. In 5 years' time, we're looking to grow to just, share the mindset, share the vision, create change, and continue to produce quality services in whatever field that might be or what it might eventually be. But yeah, our values will just stay the same. But in 5 years' time, I just want a lecture to still be a lecturer.
Yeah.
Still be what I offered, 6 months ago on our first training camp.
Is that because growing up, and you probably know that having fun while playing football is crucial too? That's something you try and put across.
Yeah, I still think it's crucial to this day. The kids are on a journey with me as well.
Yeah.
We're a team. We're on this journey together. The kids doing well, me doing well. I'm still on my own journey as a footballer.
Yeah.
I'm still, I'm still a footballer. Yeah, I have a business. Yeah, I'd class myself as a founder. But yeah, I'm still a footballer. I'll always be a footballer. That will always.
I guess that'll just last question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time too? Do you see yourself still pursuing the football? Is that still in your mind to pursue a football career?
I will play as football for as long as I can. I love it.
At any level, I guess.
Yeah. If you enjoy something, you'll do it for what?
I think you get back in the Premier League.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know where I couldn't.
Women's Super League, sorry.
Women's Super League. Yeah, come on.
It should be called the Premier League.
Premier League, yeah. But where do I see myself in 5 years? God knows. I don't know. I really don't know.
Because 5 years ago, you were...
5 years ago, if you went to me, you're going to have a business, you're still going to be playing pro football, you've just finished your A-levels, you did well at your A-levels, I'd be like...
Maybe
I'm not
for
the
Arsenal.
most academic. How have I done that?
Yeah.
I'd be like a business.
Mm.
And then you tell me I'd be coaching this amount of kids per week or have this amount of kids on a camp. I'd be, no, how have I done that?
It's a big question to ask an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
That's the thing, where you see... Because I didn't know where I see myself in 5 years' time. So.
I see myself with a lecture this side and football the other side. I see that still in 5 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying every part of this journey. I feel like I'm exactly where I need to be. Mm. That's what I feel like right now. And I feel like I'm thriving in what I'm doing right now. And every week I'm getting better. Mm-hmm. Every week, Monday, great. Tuesday, I want to be better.
Yeah.
In what I do. Whether that's, what we get out of work for the day from coaching or, is
that
my training
mentality,
session.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
always
I think
improving.
Always, if you want to be the best version of yourself, you have to, constantly check and challenge yourself. Am I doing this right? Am I doing that right? Mm. But yeah, this is also about being a better person, footballer, businesswoman, sports person. Like this is just about like striving to reach your potential, really.
And last thing, so if any girls or boys are watching this who are looking to get into football, and like you said, there's not many female coaches, especially not current players that are giving sessions, like how can they get in touch with you and like book a session?
So DM us on Instagram at Alexa Academy. No full stops, just Alexa Academy. Then you'll find details on there. We have like a little bit of a brand motto of be extraordinary, that, you know, that is important to me. Be extraordinary, you know, be the best version of yourself, be yourself. I'm all for that. I'm young and I'm also stepping out my comfort zone while doing this. Like, this is not easy for me. Some of the challenges I get faced with having a business, playing football, getting put into situations isn't easy for me. But get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I got told that by one of my England coaches. And I'll continue to do that. And always strive for more, always want more. And for kids out there, I will forever pass that message on.
Awesome. Yeah, so I will put a link in the bio to check out Alexa Academy.
BDA.
Thank you, Alex, for coming on.
Pleasure.
It's like incredible story. I'm sure you would agree. Like, you learned so much from you. There's like a million other questions.
I could talk for ages. I could really talk.
Maybe we'll do a part 2. Who knows?
Part 2, yeah. Let's see if people like it.
Yeah, but thank you for coming on.
Pleasure.